All right. Good afternoon. Good morning. Welcome to the tips and tricks you may not know about Jira Service Management. My name is Kristen Riddle. I am a engineering manager at Trundl, and I'm bringing you this session today to kind of help give you some tips and tricks and make things more fun. All right. First of all, I just wanted to give you just a little bit about me. I have a little over 10 years of experience as a solution architect and engineering manager, extensive background with all of the Jira and Atlassian tools. I hold several certifications for SAFe, Scrum Master, Product Owner, Product Manager, and then most recently the ITIL 4 certification. And then my favorite areas of focus are around Agile transformation, training, coaching, building culture, and doing team building. So that's just kind of a little bit about me here at work. At home, this is my son and daughter. I am a mommy of 2 miracle babies. I did IVF to be able to have them. Caden is on the left, he's 6, and Madeline, or I call her Maddie, she's on the right. She is 1 year tomorrow. So here at Trundl, most all of us are remote. I am working from home. My office is based out of St. Louis, Missouri, and some of my hobbies are anything outdoors. I love to do zip lining. My son actually zip lines with me. He loves to do hiking. We're getting Maddie involved with those little hike trips as well. And then crafting, party planning, anything fun like that, or anything that has to do with mom life. So not only did I want to just do a presentation on tips and tricks about Jira Service Management, but I also wanted to get everyone here involved. So if you guys wouldn't mind, you can either scan the QR code right here on your screen, or you can join the session in the survey at slido.com. I want to hear about what you do to make work less boring, to make work less make work feel less like work. I know in our opening session today for JiraCon, our CEO Patrick Howell was talking about that. A lot of these sessions are, what do you do to make work feel less like work? So I thought I would incorporate that today. For some of you, it may be that you guys want to, make sure every day you take a lunch. Make sure you wake up, and before you start your morning, you want to do maybe an exercise or get a cup of coffee. So please, if you guys wouldn't mind, if you're on the call, and we're doing this live, so as you participate with this question, as you put your answers, it's going to pop up on the screen. I'd love to hear what you guys do to make work feel less like work. So I'm going to take about 4 minutes here, and I'll let you guys fill that out. And while we do that, again, I like to make this fun, so I'm going to play some music. All right. Someone says that they participate in a movie club. Awesome. All right, I need more participation here. Who else wants to put what they like to do to make work feel less like work? Do the daily hurdle. Yes, I am always a music person. I love playing music. Something else that I like to do to make work feel less like work is that whenever you do interact with people, whether it be remote or customers or coworkers, I really like to always engage with the video. I like to turn it on. All right, I'm getting a lot of participation here. Ask about coworkers' lives. That's great. It's always nice to get to know everyone. Go outside, book break, work outdoors. Yeah, that's always nice to do. Here in St. Louis today, it's 68 degrees. It's beautiful. So today would be a perfect day to be outside. All right, I'm going to give it one more minute for everyone to participate here. Something else I like to do to make work feel less like work is schedule like a session just for myself. Maybe take that time to catch up on some emails, connect with coworkers, or just have a couple of chat sessions through our teams talking to our Trundle people. All right. VR golf. I would be interested to hear about that. All right. I have a couple more people typing, and then I think we're going to close it off and move on. Thank you all for participating. It's always fun to kind of hear when we do a survey, especially doing a virtual event like this, it's kind of here. It's good to have the participation, but then also to see what everyone thinks about whatever question it is you're asking. So let's get back to the topic. So the topic is tips and tricks about Jira Service Management. So I bet you all are thinking, okay, what does that have to do? And why are you asking me, what do you do to make work feel less like work? Well, one of my main things that I do is that I like to do Epic with Jira. Here at Trundle, we get to do a lot of stuff that doesn't make it feel like work. And I'm hoping that some of these tips and tricks that I'm going to show you today are going to help that. Some of the tips and tricks that I want to show you today are going to help make that, that everyday life of working in Jira a little more fun. I want to show you some tips and tricks to customize the tool, to configure the tool. Maybe maybe you want to set up some automation or JQL filters and dashboards, things like that that are going to help you with the tool, make you either, if you don't already love Jira, fall in love with the tool, and then just also make it more fun and engaging to both you as the user, or maybe you as an admin or an agent for the tool as well. I should just mention that I do have a lot of slides here. I have a lot of content I want to share with you. So I am going to leave about 20 minutes at the end for you guys to open up, ask some questions. And if you have any questions to ask, we can go over that at the end. And then also after my session today, I will be over at the Trundle booth if you have any follow-up questions. So the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about is customizing your Jira instance. Customizing the Jira instance for Jira Service Management also means maybe the Help Center, your custom portal. Also, it talks about like your queues, your dashboards, things like that. So let's take a look at your portal. So once you sign up for Jira Service Management or Jira at that, you kind of get this default view. Your Help Center, when you go to either as a customer or as an agent, you're going to go to a Help Center. This is your portal that you're given, and it's pretty basic. It's going to have here's your Help Center, here's all the service desks below. So some of you may be used to seeing something like this. But what if I told you that I just in a matter of minutes, I can take your portal and your help center and go from this to this. This is just in a matter of maybe 5 minutes. So not only can we do this for your customer portal, but we can also do this for your service desk. So we could take your service desk, turn it into boring default icons for each of the request types, and we can turn it into this. So you notice with my portal, I've kind of made the theme around JiraCon. Everything is space theme. So what I did here is I wanted to customize the look and feel. You can do that for Jira and Jira Service Management. You can go in and you can add branding. You can add your company's logo. You can add a banner. The banner here, this is a interactive banner. You can talk about, what's going on with your company. You can add in a hyperlink. Get your pass here for JiraCon. You can add that right here to the announcement banner. You have the ability to add a custom login message before the user even logs in to the portal, or you can have it here at the announcement at the announcement banner on the service desk. Something else that you can do is you can edit this home page layout. So maybe if you didn't want to have all the service desks below, you can change the look of that as well. And then my favorite thing is I like to customize every single thing that I can in Jira, because I don't want just a basic out of the box setup and configuration. I don't want those boring little black icons that you can select for each of those requests. I don't want to see a get IT help and just have like a little black bubble. I want to make it custom. So with my example here, I did all of the space theme. So I took all of the little icons and I made them different spaceships. So you can do anything you want with your icons. You can, you can add pictures, you can add icons. One of my favorite things to do is Google a bunch of different icons that you want to create for your request type. Maybe you have a request that is specific to a printer. If you Google printer, you can copy and paste that printer, and then you can take it to the next level, and you can go to a website that I like to use called iconscout.com. And what that does is that allows you to change the color of different icons. So I had one customer, they had a bunch of different icons, and we wanted to have the same color theme. So all of the icons, we wanted to make them all like this burgundy color. So I used that website, the iconscout.com color editor. And what it allowed me to do was not only could I customize my icons by copying and pasting some ones I searched from Google, but I also got to save them and then add them to that website to be able to change the color. So now they have custom icons with the color scheme that matched their company logo, and it just made it really nice and pleasing to the eye when you went to their portal. So not only can you customize your service desk in the portal, but you can also customize your queues as an agent or working in Jira Service Management. Most of you guys are familiar with logging in and looking at that list of queues, and then over on the left-hand side, you would see all the list of queues. Well, one thing that you guys can do with it is you can create a new queue, and you can add an emoji or a Unicode character to the name. And then what this does is it'll give you these simple colored shape or detail emojis, adding colors or symbols to be able to provide that visual cue for agents to be able to easily navigate to their different queues. One thing that I did here and for a customer as an example is I added the color and shapes for each of their priorities, P1 through 3. So I added that to their queue list on the left-hand side, and they're able to quickly see, okay, I want to look at my queues for all P1s. They know they click on the little red icon. Something else that's really neat with using like emojis or the Unicode character is that you can also create an impression or make it look like there's sub queues under your list. And you can do that by using the Unicode character that is like the down right arrow. And you'll notice that right here in my second picture here, you'll see that little Unicode to the right, and it looks like I have a queue here, and then this could be my sub filter. So that's one tip and trick that you can use to make your queues look a little more aesthetic. And then also using the icons, you can quickly see maybe some of the queues that would have a list of recently closed tickets or maybe bugs. All right. So the next thing that you can do is, not only were we just talking about queues, but there is a max amount of queues that you can have for each service desk. The max amount of queues is about 50 queues. So one recommendation that I have is to customize your dashboard. What I like to call it is dashboard your team queues. So instead of using the queue section in Service Desk, you can actually take all of those queues that you would have that you would normally work off of the queue, or list is what I like to call it. And I like to dashboard my team's queue. So here you can also take advantage of using the emojis, and you can make your dashboard for your team any way you would like. So instead of looking at a list of those different tickets that are coming in for your service desk, you can have a dashboard that your team goes to, and you could quickly see all of the tickets that are assigned to you. Maybe you wanted to see all of the tickets that are unassigned so that your team could triage those tickets. And then for my example here, I call it Team Mermaid. So I wanted to have a bunch of little mermaids and rainbows. And so you can add all those little emojicons to your dashboard here as well. Not only can you create custom dashboards for the queues, but it's also you can create a personal dashboard just for you. So this is going to be something that you can make personal for yourself. It's going to be liberating because you can spend time to make it as custom and creative as you want. And then that could be the dashboard that you work off of instead of using a list or a queue to work off of. All right, the next section that we'll talk about is configuration for Jira Service Management. So we talked about customizing. Let's talk a little bit about when we're customizing the portal, doing the configuration. So when we get into configuring the portal, a lot of times that is focused around requests and request types. One rule of thumb that I like to stick to is the 6 and 6 rule. And by what I mean is you want to try not to have more than 6 request types or 6 groups of request types on your screen. And the reason for that is just that you don't want to have so many request types that the user has to scroll down through maybe 20 request types to try to find what they're looking for. So if you try to either one, have less than 6 groups that user could click into, or have 6 request types, that's going to help them to easily navigate to the request type that they're looking for. And it's going to help them to be able to find the request that they need. Something else, another tip that I would recommend is to always have a catch-all request. Maybe you have several specific requests, but the last one, maybe you just have a question, catch-all. Maybe it's, just questions for the service desk, or if all else fails, ask a question here so that if they can't find the specific request that they're looking for, they at least can submit a request and it could be triaged and go to the right person. And then lastly, for the configuration piece, one thing that I recommend is to set up a knowledge base for your customers. A knowledge base is going to help them to have those self-serve articles so that they can easily start typing in what they're looking for, and those articles would pop up to help them to find the answer that they're looking for without having to submit a ticket. All right. So we talked about configuration, we talked about customizing. So let's get into the nitty gritty of tips and tricks here. So the last two sections are automation and JQL. I'm sure that a lot of people are eager to learn about this because this is where a lot of the work happens. So the next section, automation for Jira Service Management. This list is the automation must-haves. I like to have this is my opinion and my list of must-haves that I use when I'm working with customers on setting up their service desk. All of these automations either have the customer in mind, have the team in mind, or have the priority in mind. So the first automation that I like to recommend is set customer expectations. So when a customer goes to the portal and they submit a request, here they are waiting on feedback, waiting to hear after they've submitted that request, what's going on with their ticket. One thing that I like to recommend is to set up automation to update those customers as that ticket is going through the workflow. A good example of this is if you have a service desk where you guys are tracking equipment and a user puts in a request that they need a new laptop. You can automatically set up an automation that would send them a notification back that says, hey, we saw that you submitted a request for a laptop. Keep in mind that might take 5 business days before the order could be fulfilled. An example like that, or even an example just to let a customer know, maybe they submitted a bug or maybe they submitted an enhancement. A lot of times that goes to an in progress status, and then that user's just kind of waiting, like, what's going on with my ticket? Maybe we submitted that to the development team to start working, to consider that enhancement or to look at that bug. We can set up automation to be able to send a notification to the customer that said, hey, we know that you submitted an enhancement request. Our development team is actually working on that as we speak. We'll keep you posted to let you know when we roll that out. I think the customer really likes to be engaged and to hear updates on their tickets. So that is probably my number one automation is to notify customers on the statuses of their tickets. The next automation is auto triage email requests. So you can triage the email requests as they come in. So if a customer emails about a broken phone and it's classified as a phone problem, we can automatically triage that to a specific team or to a specific person to get that ticket in the hands of the person that actually needs to take action on that ticket versus having to wait and triage those requests that come in. This is probably the most needed automation, but people don't know that they need it. Auto close old tickets. So I know I'm guilty of this. You submit a request to a service desk, whether it's to your company or even a request outside. You submit a request. I have an issue with this. They fix the issue and then they send you an email saying, we fixed the issue how's everything going, or is everything okay? And you don't have time to reply back. You just know that whatever request that you submitted, it's been taken care of, and you need to just move on with all the work that you have going on. So one thing that you can do is you can set up an automation to automatically close tickets that are old. So say you have an example of maybe you submitted a ticket and the user hasn't responded back to you in 5 business days. You can set up an automation to say, hey, we haven't heard from you. We're going to assume that everything's going great. We're going to close the ticket, but if you have any further issues, please either comment back and we'll reopen the ticket, or you can submit a new ticket. And then that way we can get these old tickets off of our queue or off of our dashboard. The next automation tip is maybe set up an automation to auto approve tickets. Maybe you have a specific need for approving equipment requests that are maybe over $100, but you can auto approve anything under 100. So you could set up an automation that says, please bypass the approval process for tickets that have maybe under $100 price tag. And then what it would do is it would bypass the automation, the approval process, and go strictly to maybe awaiting purchase. The next one is prioritize smarter. So oftentimes I see teams that are spending time manually reading through tickets, manually looking at the priority, looking on who they need to assign it to. You can also set up an automation that would be able to look at specific words in the ticket. So for example, if a customer put impact as the whole team, or there's no workaround, you can use this information to assign a priority level of critical. And then also this can be helpful for your team to initiate SLAs based on those priorities. This kind of loops around to a couple of the other automations that I had been talking about. This one is assign tickets to the right people. So again, for some teams, ticket triage is a full-time job. There's one person that's reading through those tickets, trying to figure out who they go to, who's the best person to help them with that ticket. What you can do is you can either utilize like a team or a specific person, and you can automate those tickets that would need to go to that specific team or person based on a specific field or based on the issue that they're having. All right, and then the last automation tip is escalate urgent SLAs. So you can make sure that your team is always going to deliver on SLAs by using automation. You can set a rule that escalates the tickets that are reaching the end of their time to relevant people. So maybe you can set up a notification that would say, you know, this SLA is getting ready to breach in an hour, and this needs to go to maybe the manager or a senior team member to take care of that particular ticket. And then also, in addition, if the ticket hasn't received any activity within a certain time frame, the system can alert relevant people to auto assign it to an agent. All right, so the next section, so that was automation. The next section is JQL for Jira Service Management. A couple of the functions that we're going to go through are just strictly for Jira Service Management, and they are going to be very beneficial for your team in looking up or setting up dashboards, creating filters or reports for service management. So the first function that we'll talk about is approval and pending functions. So whenever you are looking up and you are looking at JQL, you can use the supported functions here in the middle of your screen to be able to look up and search for issues that need approval, or you can search for issues that are pending approval. Both of these functions are really great for dashboards. This helps you and your team to be able to see those tickets that either maybe you need to approve or need to be approved by someone on your team. You can also look by the approved and approver. You can search by specific approvers or groups. So if you're looking for tickets that need to be approved by yourself, you can search that, or maybe tickets that need to be approved by a specific person, you can search for tickets for that grouping as well. Next section is the JQL issue link type function. Again, these functions for JQL are specifically related to Jira Service Management. You can use this function to be able to search for issues that have a link type such as blocks or as duplicate by. This will help you to be able to see, maybe you're looking for all of the issues that are blocking this particular ticket. You can look for issues like that, or you can also look for tickets that maybe are a list of your bugs. You can see that by all of these bugs are being blocked by this specific ticket. I did add a little tip here. You can use this JQL query to add colors to your issue cards on boards or dashboards. So if you have a specific ticket that you label or you link as a blocker, you can actually set that up to flag it. And you can do that with automation, or you can manually do that. But what you can do is you can set up color code on your Kanban or Scrum board or on your dashboard to be able to quickly identify those tickets that may be blockers for your team or for you looking at that particular ticket. The next one, JQL customer request type. This is going to allow you to search for issues that are by request type. So with Jira Service Management, our issues that are created in the system do go by issue types, such as incident request, change request, things like that. But maybe you have those labeled by different request types from your customer portal. So maybe one was called printer issues. You actually have the ability to search for request types by the type of customer request it is. The next one is the SLA functions. I think this is the most, at least underutilized JQL that I have experienced. I don't have a lot of customers that really know about this. I feel like they set up their SLAs and then they're always asking like, okay, how do I find those tickets that are getting ready to be breached or that have elapsed? And so with JQL and Jira Service Management, you have these functions that you can use, and they're also in the middle of your screen, such as breached, completed, if it was ever breached. Maybe you're looking for tickets that have been paused. You can look at time remaining, and you can also look at tickets that are within calendar hours. So again, this is probably one that is the least known about, but is there for you guys to help either build like a dashboard that's based on your SLAs, or maybe build those queues out where you're looking for those tickets that are in a paused status. The next one is request channel type. So this is a little bit different than the request type that I had just previously talked about. This is about searching for those tickets that are and how they're coming into the to your service desk. Are they coming in through the portal? Are they coming in through email? So you actually have the ability to search for those requests on how they were created. This is really useful in both, setting up your dashboard to see how these tickets are coming in, to be able to see how many users are really using the portal versus how many users are actually just sending an email to create the ticket on the service desk. The next one is request last activity time. This is useful for you to be able to see those requests that were created on or before a specific date. You can use specific date formats, or you can even use weeks, days, hours, or minutes to look up a specific date range. All right, and then lastly, I have a couple of additional functions that didn't really need to take up a whole page or talking points. A couple of them are like the response required issues. This function is really useful for that automation that I was telling you about for the auto close of those old tickets. So you could use this filter, response required issues. So the function would be comment last created on date. You could use this to see if the customer, if they haven't commented or responded back within 5 days, you can use this particular function to set up that automation to close your tickets. And then a couple other one here, last commented by operator, prioritizing your issues by link type. You can find relations to bugs, so you can look up the affected version. And then the last one here is linked issues. So you can look at all of the tickets that are linked to a specific ticket or maybe a specific link type. All right, so the last slide that I have before we get into the Q&A is just a quick keyboard shortcut. Some of you may not know that there is the ability to stop using your mouse for a minute and just use some shortcuts for Jira in general. And then also these are specific to Jira Service Management and also your queues. So on the right-hand side, there's a global list of shortcuts that you can use both in Jira and Jira Service Management. And then there's also these specific ones that you can use for queues. So if you wanted to quickly navigate in your queue, you can focus on the next issue by clicking on J. You can focus on a previous issue by clicking on K, or you can open any of those issues that you are looking at by clicking on O or Enter. All right, so I'm going to open it up to some Q&A. Does anyone have any questions on all of the different tips and tricks that I've provided for you guys today for Jira Service Management? And I'm also going to look at some of these questions here.
Yeah, Kristen, we have got one question. So the question is it possible to create more than one banner?
So it's not possible to create more than one banner, but there are 3 different areas that you can actually put in a message. You can put in a message or a banner at the login screen. So whether it's a user of Jira or a customer for Jira, when you go to log in to the system, you can have a banner there. You can also have an announcement banner on the portal or the help center itself. And then you can have a separate one in the service desk area where you would have a list of your request types. So an example of that would be if you have one portal for your customer or for Jira Service Desk, you can have an announcement banner there. And then if you have, say, 4 service desks, each of those service desks could have their own announcement banner inside their service desk. Great question. Let's see what other questions we have coming in. So we have a lot of comments too. I want to kind of talk about the comments. Someone had said, Cynthia, you said you loved the dashboard feature. Yeah, I found that we actually found that on accident. So I had a customer where we were creating a bunch of queues for different support teams. And at that time, I didn't know that Jira Service Management had a queue restriction of 50. So as I'm creating the queues in the support team, I got down to probably 50, and it said I couldn't create any more queues. And I was like, oh no, what are we going to do? You know, these teams need to have a specific queue for their tickets. And that's when we came up with the dashboard your queues. And we actually found that it was a great idea to do, because we have one dashboard for that support team. They can go to that specific dashboard and they would be able to see a big picture of all of their tickets. My dashboard that I showed you, the example just kind of showed each of the different request types, but you could add different gadgets. You can add the pie charts. You can add the assignee gadget. You can add all those different types of gadgets to it. My example just showed you all of the tickets that were assigned to me as that support member, all tickets that were unassigned, so we could triage them. And then we also had all of our tickets by request type. So I got to see all of my incidents that were coming in, my service requests, things like that. And it was just really easy to duplicate that dashboard, make that as my template. And then I could quickly change the filters of the dashboard to assign to the next support group that needed to have their dashboard made. All right, Cleo, how are you doing? It says, Kristen, great idea for automation to close out old tickets. Yeah, I think that is probably one of my most favorite automations, is because I am always updating or going in and updating tickets to say, hey, I haven't heard from you in a while. Are you still having an issue with this ticket, you know, with this, or do you want me to close this ticket? And I always feel bad, like, am I going to close the ticket and are they going to have an issue? So again, not only can you set up the automation to automatically close that ticket, but still remember, let's send out an automation to the customer or to the person that created that ticket that says, hey, we're going to close your ticket because you haven't responded, but keep in mind, if you still have an issue, this is how you would reopen your ticket or create a new ticket, so that they know that the ticket's being closed. All right, so there's a question from John. Is there a way to select what knowledge base documents a client can see if you make knowledge base available on the portal? Yes, there is. So what's really cool about the knowledge base section in Jira Service Management is that, yes, it's tied to Confluence, but your users do not need to have a Confluence license for them to access those articles. So the knowledge base is a space that is created, and then what you can do, you do have to have Jira admin privileges to be able to do this, but you can label those different articles. You can tag them and you can label them to those specific request types that you want to see, and then you can also show which ones are going to be for maybe the customer versus maybe you can have some knowledge base articles that may be internal for an internal service desk. So you can separate those out. Maybe it talks about changing your password, and that's only going to be pertain to your internal folks. You can set that up to where that would pop up if it's an internal customer or based on their domain. Sherry has a question. Great workaround for the queues. Do you know of a way to create a gadget that shows all open tickets by the field organization? Yeah, so what you would want to do is you would want to use the JQL, and you would want to filter out those specific tickets, and you would want to filter out that field organization. And then say, for example, if you wanted to just see them, filter it by organization and see all of those tickets, you would want to specify what project or service desk that you're going to filter that on. And then you would just save that filter. And then you can add it to your dashboard. Maybe you had a dashboard that was focused on one organization. You can filter, you can save that filter to only show that specific organization's tickets, or you can actually create a filter that would show all, and then you could filter those tickets on that dashboard as well. You can use a couple of different gadgets for that too. You can use a pie chart, so you could see all of the tickets that were coming in for the service desk based on organization. You can do that too. Mohammed asks, can we put a knowledge base available only for customer, not to make them available on the internet? You definitely can. So what you can do with Jira Service Management is you can set up your portal to not be open source or not be available by the internet. They would have to, the customer would have to create a login, an Atlassian account, and then they can still be considered a customer. They wouldn't consume a license, but if they were to log in, that's when they would be able to have access to your service desk portal as well as that knowledge base. All right, any other questions? Well, I just want to thank you guys for attending my session. I hope that my tips and tricks will help you out both as a Jira user or as a Jira admin or agent. If you have any questions, I have included my email, my LinkedIn, and then also I'm going to be hopping over to the Trundle booth for the next hour. So if you have a specific use case or a specific question that you want me to help you with, I do have a test and a demo instance that I can share, and we could walk through some of the questions that you have, or walk through some different scenarios. And then if you happen to think of any questions or comments after this session, please feel free to reach out to me by any of these different whether it's email, phone, LinkedIn. I'm here to help you guys out. All right, I hope you guys enjoy JiraCon. This is our second year. This is my first year because I was on maternity leave last year. My daughter Maddie came the night before JiraCon, so it's not, she didn't come because of the stress, but hopefully you guys will enjoy the rest of the sessions. And luckily, since there's like 66 sessions, I'm so glad that it's recorded so that I can hop on and check out all the sessions that I missed during my session. Again, down below on this slide, it's going to show all of the different topics that are getting ready to come up. So if any of those look good to you, please just click back into your JiraCon website, click on the agenda, and you can scroll and find the session that you want to attend.
Yeah, Kristen, sorry to interrupt. We have one more question.
Okay.
So the question is from Mahmoud. So when we add a person into a project as customer, they need to create a login. Is that enough, or?
Yeah, so you can either add them as a customer. So you have two different configuration options. You can open it up to the public to allow anyone to create tickets on that portal, to submit tickets on that portal, or you can restrict it to only allow users that you send an invitation, or you tell them that they sign up for, you have them sign up for the portal. So it can be those two options. But yeah, if you add them to a project, in the project meaning your service desk, they would be considered a customer, and then they can submit tickets to that service desk. All right, any other questions? Thank you guys all for attending. It's been really great, really fun and exciting to be able to share everything with you. Mohammed, your question was related to the knowledge base. Yeah, so you can have the knowledge base that's going to be around the same configuration that you have when you decide what type of customers are going to be submitting tickets to your service desk. If it's a specific customer, maybe you're going to have internal customers or that all have the same domain name. They would have to log into the service desk, and then once they start searching around for a specific request, or they start searching the knowledge base, they would have access to that. Now, if you wanted to have it open to the public, where anyone could submit a ticket to your service desk, then you can also allow them to be able to have access to that knowledge base, so that if they're looking for a specific request, maybe a password reset, they could also type in password in the search field, and then it would pull up those knowledge base articles for them to be able to utilize as well. So there's two options there. All right, I think all of the questions, I think we have all the questions. What I'll do is we'll go ahead and end the session. And then if you have any additional questions, please reach out to me through email, or you can hop on over to the virtual Trundle booth for the next hour, and I'll join over there so that any questions that you have, I can help you with those.